Welcome to the SOB radio show, where we have fun, interesting guests, and hot topics. Each week, we offer insights into music, fashion, health, fitness, and humor. Do you have the perfect guest for us to interview? I want to know. Drop me a line on our Facebook page at SpunkyOldBroad1 or reach out to me on our website at SpunkyOldBroad.com. And now, back to the show.
Hi, everyone. I'm back with Lorraine Hoving, and Lorraine was talking to us about her losing of her weight and how she dealt with being bullied and so forth. So let's find out some other things. How do you feel that the changes that you've made have affected you mentally and emotionally?
Ooh, big question. Mentally, I believe that because I've lost the weight, saw myself reach some goals, significant goals all the way down, it has given me energy and enthusiasm in other parts of my life. Like I'm now getting up at 6 o'clock. I know you probably get up at 5, Dr. Gayle, but
no,
I get up.
No, I don't.
Oh, but I've gotten up at 6. I've done other things in my life that I was not able to do because I look at that and I say, wow, look at Lorraine, look what you did. This took a lot of hard work, and you can apply that same kind of energy in other areas of your life. That's why it is never, ever too late for anybody else. So whether it's weight, whether it's the discipline of doing your business, whatever the area might be, you can take that same energy and infuse it because it is never too late ever. Every single day counts. So this day, I can make a difference in other areas of my life. And because of losing the weight and seeing myself, it builds your confidence. It builds your self-esteem. So that's some of the emotional too. And it has, I now have a framework that feels solid in my emotional state. It feels solid. I know who I am. I know where I came from. I have dealt with my past. I've forgiven the people, and I know this life is up to me. It's not up to my husband to make me happy. It's not up to the world. It's not up to my business. It's up to me. And so that has infused in all areas of my life.
Well, you know, it's interesting because I know it's had. I'm sure you're able to move around better. I'm sure
yeah,
you know
that's
physically.
true.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to be more active physically. I know that, you know, there are silver sneakers programs everywhere for people over 55, and insurance will pay for those programs. And I've gone to them in different gyms. Some of them I like. Some of them I feel like I'm in kindergarten because I'm used to, you know, harder workouts.
Right.
But in my gym in Miami, because I belong to 3 different gyms because I live in 3 different places. So in my gym in Miami, it's really, the teachers are fabulous. And it's not easy. I mean, you do get a great workout. Yet, there are people who are walking around using these little 1 and 2 pound weights, and I say, your handbag weighs more than that, you know, but they, yes, that's true. So,
it's true with me.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, I do think that because you can move better and you feel better physically, you also feel better, you know, emotionally and mentally. It just gives you this energy that you don't have any other way. Now, you also have been married for 41 years, and he stuck by you for everything. And I was married 45 years. I would have been married 55 years had my husband not passed away. And I know what our secrets were, but I'd love to know what your secrets are to stay together through thick and thin. What did you guys do?
Yes, and when I say thick and thin, this is what I always kind of laugh with my husband.
Right.
He has loved me. This man has loved me through it all and never asked me to be anybody else. He saw what was inside of me, and it almost brings me to tears thinking about it. Uh, Now, in 41 years, we all know, all of us out there know that it's not every day is not a wonderful, peaceful day. And there's days that you've thought, I thought I couldn't do it. I was emotionally immature when I got married, is what I'll say. And so we had a few little rough years there. And is everything perfect? No, nothing is perfect in life, but boy, is it good. And this is what I say. One of our secrets as I've gotten older is, and I've looked at our marriage and thought, wow, we've made it for 41 years, is the fact that we love to laugh. If you can tell, I love, 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 love to laugh. And my husband is kind of a trickster. He loves to do things just to make me laugh. And in fact, on my series, Never Ever Too Late, I had somebody that was speaking on decluttering, and he actually wrote the declutter us and made some jokes, and she wrote back to him, and I thought it was so funny that he constantly tries to, and then I know he gave me some feedback on the survey that I put out, and I didn't know the feedback was from him. And he asked, he's he's constantly doing that things, and I think that a sense of humor as you get older is so important to keep you lively and young. And then also, I would say the other secret is when you can look at each other and know that you are each other's best friends and you have each other's back. I know that this is the gospel truth, and it wasn't always the truth in my marriage. There is nobody on earth that I'd rather spend a day with. If I had anybody in the world, I'd want to spend it with my husband, because we have developed that friendship over the years, because it's not always been easy. It's been hard. There's been ups, there's been downs, but we have hung out together, and now we have each other's backs. So.
Well, it's so interesting that you say that. First of all, my sister had her 85th birthday a week ago, and I called her. Well, what I did first, because I know she's as busy as I am. So I texted her, and I said, when is a good time to call you? And she said, well, don't call me during the day because I want to really hang out, with her husband. And they just have such a nice time together that she just wanted to spend the day with him. So I called her about 5:30, which was, dinner time, and before she would, have an event in the evening with him. So I think that's really cool that you do want to spend time with your hubby. And I felt that way too. And interestingly, when people say, well, Gayle, why aren't you dating, or why aren't you, are you looking to get remarried? The answer is no, I'm not. If I ever found anybody, because most men my age are decrepit. But anyway, I said there are three characteristics. Number one, he has to have a sense of humor. That's number one. Number two, because my husband was a kidder. He had a great sense of humor. In fact, I said he should be paid to be a plant in the audience, because he laughed so hard at things on TV that I thought, man, they really need him in the audience, And then the second thing is, yeah, go ahead.
Dr. Gayle, that is so funny, because my husband, our husbands must have been very similar, because my husband would laugh so hard in a movie theater. I used to always think, well, we're going to get kicked out. And then we had these friends that would want to, they'd invite us over for movie night just because they wanted to hear him laugh. He never stops laughing. So that's interesting. So I had to interject that because it's so similar.
So sense of humor to me is number one. Number two is they can't smoke. And the third thing is they have to love animals. Those are my three criteria. It doesn't sound like very much, but that's my three criteria. So,
that's interesting.
Yeah. So, and that's the other thing, is that not everything is smooth. I mean, we went through a lot of bumpy spots too. But the interesting thing, I will have to tell you this. As a kid, I never heard my parents fight, ever. And I had never heard the word divorce until I went to college. And some of the people in my, in my dorm, et cetera, had like 4 or 8 sets of grandparents by the time they got done with. But I just never knew about those things. So I was very fortunate that I was brought up in a home that, that was very loving. And but my mom was a great person who disciplined. I mean, she disciplined me, and that's where I learned to be who I am. But you also are launching this second series of Never Too Late Ever. So was it the response that you got, or was it just your own feeling of wanting to do more that made you want to do season 2, or what was the inspiration for that?
The inspiration is comes from the people. So I'm a very connected person. People are connected to me. I would like to provide them with more inspiration and motivation. And I got a couple emails that were just like almost brought me to tears. One was, this one was kind of funny. Is she was a Canadian, and she said that since my series, she wakes up and listens to my my videos and my experts for the day, rather than watching the American news feed anymore.
Well,
and I thought that was pretty amazing and pretty positive. And then I got a couple other feedback where they said that it had actually changed their life and inspired them to make a difference. And those kind of things, when you feel like you're connecting with an audience, so they're now all part of my family. I call them my family. And so I want to nurture that, because I feel I have a passion and vision to inspire others to be the best that they can be in this time of their life. So that's how it began, when I started seeing responses from people. And then also I do have a passion that I want to continue inspiring others.
Fantastic. Yeah, it really makes a big difference, I think, for people to understand that it has such a powerful effect on people. And, I think also that you are providing a service to so many people who may not get out to experience all these different things. I mean, you're probably like I am, we're everywhere and belong to so many things and go and do and so forth. But for example, based in Miami, although I live in California as well, based in Miami, there are people that won't go from Miami to Fort Lauderdale. It's just too much trouble. And I'm thinking, gosh, I must be up there once or twice a week. And but it's because I'm always going. And that's what people say, it's easy for you because you get up and you do what you do all day. And I think by providing this series, you have given people the ability to say, there's just a whole lot more out there for me that I haven't done, and also that it's not too late. And that's something that I think people, especially women, they hit 50 and they say, oh my gosh, it's all over. Well, it's not all over. I mean, you're really just beginning a great part of your life that you don't have kids at home, unless of course they come back to live, which many kids are doing today. Yeah. But if you're like an empty nester, and even if you're widowed or divorced or single in any way or form, there are still so many things for you to do, and there are so many trips that you can go on, and there's just a lot out there for you, and I think that's terrific. So what's in the future for Lorraine, other than your Never Too Late Ever? What's in the future for Lorraine?
You know what? That's a great question. I'm excited wherever this journey takes me. I would like to eventually, now that you've asked me, I dream about being able to speak at retreats or speak in front of audience to inspire and motivate them. I love what you just said, because there are many people that are sitting now at home and they feel uncomfortable about doing some things. They look at us and think, oh, it's easy for them. but actually it's easy for us all. We just have to go through that door and, face taking risks if it's traveling or if it's, it's so easy to be comfortable. But I like pushing myself to be kind of in the little uncomfortable zone. Like even going on this radio show is exciting for me. So it's always pushing that envelope, because I think that people that are at home are just sitting there, and it's like a muscle. So with exercise, I was thinking as you were talking about exercise, if we don't exercise when we're 60 and 70, then you will see us at 80 walking very slowly, because those muscles absolutely need exercising. So that's important. So in all areas of our life, I think that all our muscles need to be exercised. So whether that's a muscle of taking a risk, take a risk and you'll find out it wasn't near as bad as you thought it was. So my passion is to inspire others that are sitting there in the doldrums and in their comfort zone to get up and make a difference, start exercising those muscles, whatever muscles they are, making a better marriage, making a better relationship with your children, whatever it is. But don't just sit there and lull yourself to sleep. It is time. It is time. We only have so much time. None of us know if we're going to live next week. But what we want to do is make a difference today. So my passion in the future is to be able to speak and hold retreats. I'm not going to lose any of my fire between now and when God takes me to heaven. I'm not losing one day without trying to inspire others and motivate others to make a difference.
Well, that's wonderful, and I do think it's interesting. We talk about exercising your muscles, both mind and body. My Uber drivers have been hysterical lately because they keep saying, I say something and they'll say, well, do you travel a lot? And I'll say, yes, blah, 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 blah. And they're always saying, well, I can't wait till I retire, or I'm just doing this until, I did retire from a job, so I only do this a couple hours a day. And I say, well, I'm 80 and I'm still working. And then the whole conversation changes. What do you eat? Do you exercise? But because they think I'm like 60 or 65, and it's so interesting because people just don't expect you to I don't know what they expect, but here, at least in the States, they don't honor the elders so much, and it's interesting because I'm going, and then they'll say, well, I know people who are 80 and they're on a walker, or they can't get out of the couch, or whatever it happens to be. So you're right. You've got to, and I say I don't expect anybody to do what I do, but I do expect you to do something, whatever that is. And I remember doing one TV segment for seniors, workout for seniors in a chair, just what you can do with your legs and your arms, and a band, will help you with your chest and your back and all of these different things. So I totally agree that people have got to, and look at all the, Grandma Moses, who didn't start dating until very late, and our dear Colonel Sanders, who didn't create our Kentucky Fried Chicken that isn't so healthy for us, but it tastes good, tastes good. So, I agree. So what would you say, from all the people that you interviewed, what was the most fascinating thing you found out? I think that would be interesting for our listeners to hear.
You know what? It was varied. I remember Sarah Jane, who I interviewed in South Africa, and she related animals. So when you said animals, I love animals. And so in college, we had to say that what we were looking for in a marriage partner. This is what made me think of it when you said that. And I stood up and I said all these qualities, and I said he has to love animals. And everybody in the room laughed. And the teacher said, you know what? It's really not that funny, because she's looking for a quality because she loves animals. And that's exactly how I feel. If somebody treats an animal with respect and love, how much more are they treating humans like that? So there's something about that. So Sarah
Well,
Jane
that's
from
true.
Africa. Pardon?
Well, it's funny. I spoke in South Africa, so but the one thing I wanted to do was hold lion cubs, and I had gone on two or three safaris, and I still hadn't seen any lions or anything, but I had seen every other kind of animal, and I had really learned some lessons from the animals, especially the monkeys. The monkeys were telling each other that we were coming, and they were doing it in a way. It was really interesting to watch this whole thing. But monkeys are very smart, and they are so like us, and they were just telling each other, "Watch out, they're coming." And
right.
but in Namibia, in West Africa, I finally got to go to a place that was all cats, and I got to hold lion cubs and feed them with the milk bottle, and nobody would even touch them until I did, and it was just, I loved every minute of it. But when we were going to get married, and I said to my husband, who had a dog, I had never had dogs, I said, "Oh, great, now that we're getting married and I'll have my own house, I can have a cat." And he said, "A cat?" And I said, "Yeah, a cat." He said, "No cats." I said, "You're kidding me." He said, No cats." So I said, "Well, no cats, no marriage." And he said, "What?" And I said, "Well, I can live without you, but I can't live without a cat." And anyway, we had cats ever since, and I started then with Siamese because he said, "Well, I want a list of cats." So I went to the library. Of course, there were no computers. Got a list of cats. Siamese was on there. Got my first Siamese, and I've had Siamese ever since. But anyway, we only have a few minutes left, so I want to see, first of all, how can people find out about you and get in touch with you, Lorraine? That's important.
Yes, that would be through my website, neverevertoolate.com. And on there, they can sign up for my emails. And in my emails, I'm emailing my list right now every few days, and keeping them inspired and motivated as we head towards a series. My next series is going to be June 16th.
Okay, and so that's the gift that you would like to give them, right?
Yes, actually, my next series is June 18th. I just remembered, June 18th. It will start on a Monday, and it will have a lot to do with mindset and some on losing weight and exercise and health. That's kind of what people were wanting. Mm-hmm.
That's great. So if you want to find out more about Lorraine, go to nevertoolateever.com, and you'll be able to see the series, see what she does, and you'll be able to then subscribe to the new series, which will go over a lot of the things that we have talked about. So we have about 2 minutes left. Is there something that we haven't talked about, Lorraine, that you would like to tell our listeners?
Well, while we were talking, I was thinking of the people out there. There are people out there that need to make just baby steps. So it's not that you have to go to the gym and exercise like Dr. Gayle for 2 hours a day. What we're saying is that if you begin to take baby steps, whenever I've tried to do things, bite off more than I can chew, I'm going to lose 150 pounds in a year. Well, as soon as I start doing that, to me, I feel if I don't make those goals, then I feel discouraged, and then I fall off the wagon. So what I would like to say to you out there is take baby steps. Maybe this day I will go for a walk, for an hour walk. Maybe this day I will find out about a Weight Watchers or a group that I can join. Take baby steps, because it's not the big gigantic steps that are going to get you. It's the baby steps done consistently over and over and over again that'll eventually get you down the road, so that when you go by a mirror, you go, "Oh my gosh, is that me?" Because consistent and baby steps. So, and
correct.
It's never too late.
That's right. You hit it right on the target. That's absolutely correct. I hope you've learned a lot from Lorraine today. She's a wealth of information, and not only that, she's a role model. She's someone you can emulate. So I want you to go to the website, sign up for the new series, and enjoy. I want to thank you so much, Lorraine. It's been delightful, and I'm so glad we had this chance to chat today. And I'm sure everybody will try to get to your website and sign up for this, because I know they will realize how important it is. So thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Dr. Gayle. You are absolutely a breath of fresh air. I love it.